Hold on just a second. Just a second. It seems somehow that my connection is not working pretty well. Anyways, I have to work here in a few things. I have to do a report and so on. Is it streaming? Seems like it is now. Anyway, let me just quick open the email so I can answer some questions. I don't remember exactly what I've told you guys on the last video, but my point is that just a second. Oh, that's so good. Great news. Anyway, so what happened is I said something like oh, here it is. Linda Scott. She wrote me back that I was talking about okay. Yeah, I probably made a mistake. I was not running out of battery, I was running out of memory. This is like a very recurrent. Let me translate here. This is like a frequent issue that I'm having here. Yeah, recurrent. Let's see here.
Recurrent.
Recurrent. Yeah, I'm not that wrong.
Recurrent.
So yeah, indeed, it's quite recurrent, the fact that I'm running out of memory, and it's pretty insane because like the phone that I have, it's like a Chinese phone, which is an excellent phone. I haven't used any phone that is like any better than Xiaomi. Xiaomi, and my phone is like Xiaomi 6 something. I don't remember. Anyways, so the issue or the thing is that I'm running out of memory, and my connection at home is also not that good. So actually right now I'm using my data from the carrier, which is not that expensive because I have a good package. Monthly like data package is quite okay. I use for work and other stuff. But the thing is, I'm running out of memory. So the easiest way for me to do it or answer anything is like doing a live, and later I have to kind of edit the name and this kind of stuff. It's like complicated. So okay, let's go for the okay. No, basically about pressure answering stuff. No, I don't feel any pressure answering anything. It's just that I feel that if there is anyone interacting with me, it's like I should answer them at least. That hey, look, I'm busy lately and I can answer you. I'll do that as soon as I can. That's something like I think people should do. I mean, and that's actually congruent with what I'm doing with my idea of my channel and the Instagram account, which is, of course, it's my account on Instagram, and I like to watch people and see like their facial features, and I keep admiring them, and I'm like, oh, it's like some people, they like to contemplate like birds like ornithologists or whatever, like they like to contemplate birds, or some people they like to contemplate pictures or like paintings and this kind of stuff. Like I just like to look at people and see like how insane it is. Like some people are beautiful, some are not. Some have like a body feature, some not. And like if you go to Asia and you start looking at Asian girls, I haven't looked at Asian boys' legs, but if you look at Asian girls' legs, you see that the leg is quite different, at least from Brazil. Like the leg is usually like this, like your knees, they're like leaning like outwards, let's say, here in Brazil. So everyone's feet would be a little bit like a V, as we call, like, not a quarter, right? Like, yeah, almost like almost a quarter, that's 25, right? Now a quarter in an hour is like 15, which is 9. Yeah, okay, so it would be like almost a quarter to 1 or a quarter to 2, let's say. That's the joke that we have here in Brazil. It's like if you look at like a analog dial of a clock, you see that your feet is like a V. It's almost like almost a quarter to 2, let's say. So that's the joke. And that's how how gross legs here are. I mean, they're like a little bit going like outwards, the knees and the feet. But in China, it's really interesting that their leg is like very straight. So the knees are aligned with the breast. Let's say it's like more aligned, like almost a little bit like inwards, and the feet is like the same. When they stand still, the feet is not like this, right? It's like this. So it's pretty interesting. And in general, like Asian girls, because well, I'm not homosexual, so I won't keep looking at guys. So it happens to me that I pay more attention to girls. But anyway, it's not that I'm like, how can I say? It's not that I'm sexually looking at people. It's just that I contemplate women beauty. Anyway, so girls in Asia, they tend to have a better posture. Their spine is straight and their shoulders are aligned, this kind of stuff. Usually, if you go to like Beijing, Shenzhen, Shanghai, where else I've been, Wuhan, it's like a smaller city. It's big, but it's like smaller compared to the other ones. Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. Those are like the 4 biggest ones. Like Beixiangguan. That's how they call. It's the first character of each word. So it's like Bei from Beijing, Shang from Shanghai, Guang from Guangzhou, and Beixiangguan. And it's missing Shenzhen. Anyhow, I just noticed right now. But anyway, like usually people when they talk about Guangzhou, it's like usually the Pearl, the delta of the Pearl River Delta, yeah, which is like the famous Canton area that comes from Guangdong, right? I guess it makes sense, at least Guangdong Canton. So yeah, it's like I like to keep looking at that because it's like people are different. Not only like their mindset is different, their understanding of life is different. Many stuff, like many stuff. Anyways, so okay, answering to that, it's just that there's no pressure to answer. I just feel that I should do because this is the purpose of the channel, to communicate. And as I named my channel, like healing by pondering, so I have to ponder, and the more people I interact with, like the more chance I have to have access to other perspectives, to other ways of see things, and this kind of stuff. Yeah, there was a black rectangle covering my face for some reason, and I don't know why, because for this reason that I'm running out of memory, I can't kind of record the video and then like upload, which is also very inconvenient to be honest. And because my computer is also like lame and I cannot edit the video, so I have to just like record and post it and upload. So it doesn't actually make sense to edit anything because the computer is not able to edit. And like recording will take a lot of memory from my phone or my computer, so it's just like stream it once for all. Yeah, so it's not a battery. My facial expressions, yeah, it's funny because now that I'm recording, I'm actually seeing myself on the screen of the phone, and I'm trying to actually focus here on the camera, the frontal camera of the phone. But it's insane because I try to look at myself to see if I'm like framed or whatever. Like, anyways. So, okay, what else? Yeah. I don't know because I don't know how to use this app, and I cannot use it on the computer because somehow Google says that I cannot do a live stream on my computer for some weird reason. I don't know why. I can't do a live stream on my own channel, so I have to use the phone. It's kind of like a cheat, a hack, cheat, whatever. It's like insane. And by the way, the facial expression, it's funny because since I was like a young man, or like when I was a little kid, my family and friends' parents, they always said that I had like so many facial expressions, and I didn't know that was true until I had a phone and I was looking at myself. And 70, she also used to say that I did a lot of like facial expressions, and she used to ask me to do like a baby face, something like that. Just like you just almost close your eyes and you do like this, like hey. She used to say it was like baby face, and it was nice. And she would come to me and say, "Hey, can you do your baby face? Oh, I love it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, ooh." It was nice. It was nice. It's hard to know how things would have turned out. Yeah, indeed. I mean, we never know. But one thing is, I keep asking myself to which extent that if I were myself from now, at the moment that we were together, me and 70, what would have happened? Probably, I think that some misunderstandings that we had wouldn't have happened, or they would have happened in a different way, for sure. But it's hard to know the outcome. Like, who knows? The more I try to study this new approach of life, I don't call it religion because it doesn't have like a rigid set of dogmas like a religion, but like this what's they call like quantum mechanics or quantum physics or whatever, which is this understanding that we are all connected, and which is true. I was raised like that. My father and my mother, they raised me like that, especially my father, because my grandma, my father's mother, my grandma, and her family, like all the lineage to like my great grandfather, which was her father. Anyway, all these guys, they studied like occult sciences and holistic sciences, which is not, I don't know, like a science per se, but it kind of nowadays it gets even more congruent with actual science, which is, yeah, indeed, actually everything is connected at some level, which we from our perception cannot understand, because if you think that my beard has the same or most of the same elements that my skin, my sweat, my eyes, even my glass frame. So my glass frame are made of polycarbonate, and like there's like titanium here. I guess it's titanium or titanium coating. Who knows? Um, we all have the same, almost like identical thing. And well, if electrons transmit like information as they do in the internet and a computer, this kind of stuff, so does the photon. The photon also transmits information. You can see research for like entangled photon. They're like separated apart, and somehow they still communicate, or like they bounce around the same way or whatever. It's like, what? Yeah, okay, what? Yeah. That's the what thing. Yeah, and that's it. So basically, I think that we're connected, but in a level that our perception now cannot understand. So basically, that's it. And I think that, as in quantum physics, the idea of free will that religions carry out is that, well, it's not that actually we have free will. It just means that, like, if you go to calculus and you have like something, how do you say? Oh man, I have to Google this stuff. Oh, raised to the fourth power? Is that? To the power? Oh, okay, yeah, you know, when you have a number and you have a little number on the top. Yeah, the power. Yeah, is it called power in English? I don't know. Never did math in English. I mean, I did. I watched some like MIT and UCI classes on thermodynamics, but I don't remember using that language. Anyway, so imagine yourself like multiplied like n times n or x times, like we don't know how many, but like let's say that you have like a infinite number of possibilities. So it's almost like assuming that you have free will. I mean, you choose one of the paths that is ahead of you. Okay, you choose, you have free will, but it's just like all the options are already existing. They just have to be like made real, let's say. So that's the thing. So I believe that somehow, if I were with this level of maturity and this level of understanding and this level of self esteem and understanding and this kind of stuff, many things between me and 70 wouldn't have happened, and it's okay. It is not like that, and that's okay. But I also like sometimes for a few seconds during a day or during a week think that, well, maybe from this moment on we could affect the past. Who knows? I don't, but I hope somehow for a few seconds. And sometimes I ask myself, she hates me so much nowadays, that is it really worth to keep, insisting, to keep like having the hope to be back together? I question myself a lot. And also my psychologist also questions me a lot, especially this new one. Especially, no, I mean, I'm going to a new psychologist. For the last 3 months I changed the psychologist. I'm going now to like a Jung kind of therapy, which is cool, but I don't like the therapist that much. But she's okay, because I try to talk stuff and she questions me a lot, and I'm like, fuck, I need to talk, man. I need to talk a lot, and I can't because she's questioning me. Anyway, so that's it. What else? Let's see. Some could say is to get one in life. If you like someone very much and you want to have children with them, then just go ahead and say I love you. Yeah, that's a good point. Basically that's what happened like last week when I went to the psychologist. I told her about this thing like for the second or third time, and she said, hey, yeah, you're telling me like for like not the first time, and I don't understand. You told her that you didn't love her because you didn't love your parents, blah blah blah, etc. So you couldn't love her because you wanted to be honest and blah blah blah. And like, okay, that's all bullshit. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm in the psychologist paying her to tell me that is like bullshit. It's like, what? I was kind of fucking pissed for a few seconds, and then like I was like, okay, let's pay attention. And then I was, okay, so what do you mean? And she's like, well, see, if you want to have a family with her and, well, you like her so much, isn't it love? And I'm like, I don't know. Actually, I know. It is. But now I know because I've been working on my self-esteem for the last year quite intensely with a very, 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 very intense dedication to work on my self-esteem and working on cutting the ropes that tie me together to my founder, which I have to unfortunately admit that, how can I say? I have to unfortunately admit that I repeated a lot of stuff from my father, from like patterns, behaviors, and I didn't know. It was like so automatic. And some people from self-help kind of like literature or like this market, they like to say that, well, 95% of your life is controlled by your unconscious mind or your subconscious or your unconscious, whatever name. Like, it's not your rational mind. So, for example, like that's the best example, and it's true. When you drive a car, if you drive, or you ride a bike, and trust me, there are like adults that don't ride bikes, so have to be careful with that. Anyway, so when you learn some kind of activity or whatever, in the beginning, you have to pay a lot of attention. You have to dedicate yourself to that in order to not make mistakes, or you correct your mistakes. Your rebound is fast. So let's say you fall from your bike, or let's say that you let your car, I don't know how to say in English, like your car just shuts down because you made a mistake while driving. Not an automatic car, because I don't know, but I guess that automatic cars with like not mechanical gear that you have to change gears and a clutch, those are like pretty easy. You made a mistake and you just like the car just shuts down and you have to start it again. And then, yeah, anyway, so let's say that you do that, or you fall from your bike, you have to rebound fast. And it's like, okay, you just fell from the bike, just get back to the bike and keep cycling. And that's the idea. But like you have to know a lot of stuff, like a complex like softwares like here. And if you have the wrong software, like you're damned. So that's why you need to pay attention in the beginning, because well, you have to learn it. Once you learn it and you repeat it enough times to be automatic, you could ride a bike with one hand, you lick an ice cream cone and talk to your friend, and you're not paying attention to like any of those things. Like you're not paying attention to riding a bike, you're not paying attention to lick your ice cream cone, and you're just pay attention maybe to the conversation you're having with your friend, or at least, I don't know, you're splitting your attention between all these three things. Plus the fact that you should balance yourself on the bike, plus the fact that you should pay attention to traffic to not be hit by anyone. So yeah. So I think that the programs that we have in our unconscious mind, or like subconscious, whatever the name, they're defined by us ourselves when we want, and we start a new habit and we put enough time and effort in that, and then we change. But otherwise, we have the basic software that we have from factory, like a factory. How's it called in English for phone? Like factory, not firmware, like a factory setting or configuration. And that's it. Like your parents, or the people who raised you, they gave you an input of software that is running in your mind and you don't even know. And if you don't pay attention to yourself, you won't know, unless something that unless a truck hits you and 70 was the truck that hit me, and I'm sure that I was the truck who hit her also. That's why she hates me so much. I'm 100% sure about that. Like, she changed my life and I changed hers for sure. I mean, it was after we broke up and things were so bad for me and for her that she decided that she would quit the job, that she was complaining that she was like a human slave. She was just a piece of flesh in the capitalist how it's called, engrenaging, how it's called, gears, like in the gears of capitalism. She was just a piece of flesh that was being like grinded, like I usually have like a very vivid imagination. Like, I can see things most of the time when people are talking. I'm like, fuck, I'm just imagining her being like crushed by gears and this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, no, please don't. But and it was very annoying. The more she talked about like how she was a slave and blah 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 and all that her life was miserable, her father was a horrible guy, and I was telling her, like, you should look at your father and like have a different approach on how you see him. Maybe he had a really difficult life and he doesn't know how to be different, just like mine. Like, my dad doesn't know how to be different, and I understand. Like, he was tortured by his mother, and my grandma tried to do that with me, but my mom kind of like put a stop on her. So she didn't torture me like she did with my father and uncles, but she tried to do it with me, and my mom didn't allow. So anyway, like, I understand that my father was like, had a really hard childhood. But anyways, so her father was the same. Like, her grandfather died pretty young or something, or was like absent. I don't remember. I know that her grandmother raised her father and her like uncle and aunts, and then her father, as the eldest one, had a really hard time. He had to like provide for the family, and he didn't study and all that. Like, he didn't have, I think, the middle school, I guess, or high. Oh my god, in English is so complicated. Like, high school, they didn't have. I think that he didn't have the equivalent of high school, or he only had that. But I know he didn't do college or university. He didn't go to college. But he, as far as she told me, he was a brilliant guy because he was like the regional manager of like an investment bank from China to Inner Mongolia to invest in like rural things like a plantation and like a farm crops investment, this kind of stuff, from rural like countryside stuff. So they would finance the crop and this kind of stuff, and people would pay back and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. So like, for you to be like a regional manager of that kind of bank, like, you have to be a qualified person. And as far as I can understand, like, her father was a pretty qualified guy, and he had a tough childhood, and he didn't have any like male figure to guide him through life, so he had to figure out by himself. So things started to change, and he started to become more aggressive, according to her mom, and blah blah blah, and he cheated her mom. And I'm like, man, I don't care. Like, who in life doesn't make mistakes, and who are we to judge? But anyway, like, you should look at your father in a different way. Oh, but he hit me. And I'm like, what? He hit you? He beated you? And like, how come? And she kept saying that for like many times, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe this. Like, who is the kind of father who's gonna beat like his daughter up? It's like, no, there's something wrong. So towards the middle of our relationship to the end, she started to like tell me other stuff. Like, no, actually, she kind of like called him so many bad names and fought with him verbally, and then he went to slap her on the face. Then she holded his hand, and then he kind of did this with her. And I'm like, oh, that's different from beating you. He tried to, but you didn't allow. So you not only like disrespected him, but you challenge him like equally. So it's like, well, my mom used to beat me the crap out of me. I mean, and I don't care. I don't have any bad feelings or anything. Like, I was sometimes like very annoying as a kid, especially when my parents were divorcing. My mom was like so out of herself. and I was very annoying. And one day we were like taking the elevator, and I was like, "Mom, mom, mom, mom," and I would say something annoying. I don't remember exactly what, but she started to beat me up, and then I fell on the ground, and my mom started kicking me, like no, no pity or anything. She just started kicking me like crazy, and I just kept my mouth shut for the rest of the day. And at night she started crying herself out, and I'm like, "Mom, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh my god, I just kicked you. You're my son. I just beat the crap out of you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." And I'm like, "Mom, just forget it. It's like, it's okay. I understand. I was annoying. Like, just, it's okay, Mom." So I think that she was within her rights to do that. I don't recommend that she do that to someone, or like any parent beat the crap out of their kids, but from once in a while, like, it's deserved. The kids deserve, and they should be, they should be like prepared, like Boy Scouts, be prepared, because life is not gonna be compassionate towards you, my dear, or dearest friends that are watching this. Life is not compassionate. Today you have a job, tomorrow you don't. Today you have your money invested in stocks or stuff, and tomorrow there's a crash in the market and you just lose everything. So we don't know. So yeah, that's it. I don't know what I was talking about. I just forgot because I took so many. Uh, Yeah, on the other hand, I wanted to be honest. Yeah, I did. And I was stupid because I wanted to be honest. Lesson learned from this, moral lesson, don't be honest. Um, Not that you should lie, but white lies or pretty lies, they are okay. Like in this case, for example, if I told her that I loved her, I would be not saying 100% what I felt at the time, because at the time I didn't know that I had to love myself first so I could love anything or anyone else. My self esteem was so in the depths of Mariana Trenches that, like, God, I couldn't love anything or anyone. So love yourself first, then you can love anything or anyone. But at the time, I think nowadays, I think that I should have told her that I love her. And at the time, she asked me 3 times to marry her. I think that maybe I should have accepted. Yeah. But my fear was that because she had this behavior of like everything was bad, that she wanted to die, that she when we met the first time, her plan was to go to Southeast Asia and kill herself. And I'm like, what? No, you're so beautiful, you're so smart. Please don't do it. And I kept talking to her the whole trip, and she was like so negative, like, oh my god, I don't have a place to stay because I used to live with Aruhan, and Aruhan is gonna move out and blah 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 and blah blah blah, and I don't have where to go. She already found like a roommate, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, you can live with me for a short time. You can come live with me together until you find somewhere else to live, and end up that we just like stayed together till we split. That was not my plan, but it turns out that it was a good thing that happened, because I ended up like meeting the love of my life, but I was not prepared, and I just ruined it. But she also did, right? Because as we say here in Portuguese, when one person doesn't want to fight, two people don't fight. Something like that. So you need two people at least to do something. So, oh my god, you make me pregnant. Like, happens a lot in Brazil. The girls, and because the Brazilian law says that, okay, you just impregnate someone, fuck you. You have to pay the pension till the kid is like 18 years old. Fuck you. You were the stupid guy who impregnated the women. And like, oh my god, she's a poor person who was impregnated. And I'm like, all right, what about contraception? Okay, maybe you didn't use condom. Yeah, but what about like contraception, like hormones or those pills? why you didn't take them, right? Like, but here in Brazil, like men are like always blamed for everything. So yeah. So basically, it's like, oh my god, you impregnate me. All right. So how did she get pregnant? Like, did she go to like a fertility center and got herself like artificial fertilization? No, she had sex with someone. So it means that she was also enjoying herself. Otherwise, it was a rape. Then she also has something to blame for, right? But yeah, nowadays it's like really complicated to say that because oh my god, you're like a chauvinist or whatever. Like Brazil and the world is getting fucking messed. It's getting really messed. So, anyways, I'm not gonna touch this subject for a long while. Anyway, Linda says here there are like 3 basic types of communication. I heard this before. I almost agree. I would go further to say that I like Gary Chapman book called 5 Languages of Love. Let me. Oh god. Ah, my phone is already lost. My device is overheating. Can you believe that? It's like. God damn it. My phone is overheating and it's not even hot here, god damn it. Alright. Like, I'm trying to find the Amazon stuff. 5 Languages of Love. So, Gary Chapman on his book 5 Languages of Love, The Secret to Love That Lasts. Let's find the god damn it, where is it? There was a small, oh man, I read it last night. Where the hell is that? Oh, 5 Languages of Love. No, god damn it, no. Oh man, like the more I open Amazon, the more I'm pissed because it's such a confusing platform. Gosh. The 5 Languages of Love. The Secret are less. Okay. Christian marriage. I'm not Christian, but doesn't matter. God damn it. Okay. So the review. That's the name I was trying to find. My gosh. Okay, found. Okay. 5 Languages of Love. All right, let's go. Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. I think that we all have a combination of these 5, and that's it. And oh my god, let me see. Oh yeah, now I get it because for somehow this camera it's like heating the phone. These guys need to improve how they make their phones. It's not new that like there's like a camera problem when you record for a long time. So probably this streaming it's damned. Gosh. I don't know what happens. Like this streaming, it's like it's gone, almost. I guess. Who knows? I'll find out later. I still have to do my report. Okay, so words of affirmation basically means that you you like people talk to you. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, I love you. Oh, you're so nice. Oh my god, I'm so happy that we're here doing this or whatever. I'm so happy that you took me to this like a Japanese hot pot restaurant in the middle of like Gulo Hutong in Beijing, like the Drum Tower Hutong, and blah blah blah. Like this kind of people would love to listen to this. Like quality time would be like people that like quality time, like a lot of time that you're dedicating to them. You're actually paying attention. You're present with them at the moment. Okay, receiving gifts, that's like obvious. Acts of service, as far as I know, I bought the book, and it's funny thing. Like if you want to buy like a Kindle version, like a ebook from Amazon, the original one is in English, right? Yeah, because the author is like an English speaker. Funny fact, I tried to buy in English this damn thing for Kindle, and it's like twice the price of Portuguese version. And I'm like, what the fuck, Amazon? Like, I want to buy it in English, but like it's so expensive that I have to buy it in Portuguese. It's like, what? Like, it's kind of like they use the price to filter out who buys this shit. Like, god damn it. So acts of service, going back to acts of service, like the fourth language of love, is basically like you do things for your loved one. For example, me, I used to do our laundry, and I used to wash her knickers, her underwear, her panties, and it was quite complicated stuff. Like because she was like kind of nuts with like contamination or whatever with her like vagina. She would love to like do all the hygienic procedures. So I would wash that stuff on hand, and then I would boil it. Listen, boil on a pot with water. And then after boiled, I would simmer on a anti whatever. I don't know in English. Like it was like what was the name of the product? Antibacterial solution, whatever product. Like it was like I forgot the name of the product. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just like I had to put like simmering. I had to soak the panties there for a few minutes, and then I would like squeeze all the water out of the panties and like put it to dry. And I'm like, oh god, okay. And I used to do that, and actually I love it washing her panties because I felt that for doing that for her, it would save her the time to do that after she come back home from work tired. And also doing that, I would show her my love. But remember, I didn't know it was love. So, yeah. So basically, that's it. There are a few other stuff that Linda mentioned here that, like, anyway. It's not working well. Yeah, so I'll just try to read later with like more time and in a better place, or with AC. AC is not on. The office is almost hot, but it's just warm. But anyway, like the phone is not working on its best way. It's not performing its best. Okay, I have to go, I have to do stuff, and that's it. Today, no one is working here, just me. I'm alone here. Because it was holiday on Wednesday, and today, Friday, 22 of November of 2019. I'm alone here. Yeah, so I have to do my report. See you guys.